Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. So this is day one of the third week, which has been the low hang work as well as some front squats, and I went pretty heavy here on pulls. With this last kind of third week, it's going to be the most aggressive I am with just every day of training, because then in week four, it's all going to be lighter in order to kind of allow myself to fully recover for that kind of like max out session, which are going to be kind of like every 4 weeks. Like I normally will go heavy a couple times, or really 2 times a week in the classics, and at least push heavier in them. But really in the fourth week, that's where I'm trying to push past the quote unquote current PRs of like 125, 150. Obviously, they're not lifetime PRs, but they're kind of like the numbers I'm trying to get past, or at least be like, all right, I'm going to hit these and make it look pretty decent. So that will be next week. But this session, I was able to hit the 110 that I missed the previous week, where I missed it twice. So I was happy about that. And then with the hang clean jerks, I was able to hit some really heavy work with that. But I eliminated the last day of week 2. And the reason for that was to allow my days to line up a bit better, not in terms of the days of the week or anything, but in terms of just kind of life stress. And when you kind of have I suppose that's probably one of the best benefits of teaching, is that my schedule is very predictable about when things are going to be stressful or when things are not. Obviously, stuff happens that you're not going to be able to predict, but you can kind of correlate things. Or, this is potentially going to be a day where, I might not be feeling the best for training, or this could be a day where I potentially have a great day of training. And a lot of that could be physically, and that's oftentimes hard to predict as well if you have a bad night of sleep or something just is achy or whatever. But when I'm looking at kind of life stress, it's usually more predictable for the most part. Like I said, stuff can happen and can change things. But I made this adjustment because I wanted to have this day be on a day where I kind of figured I'd have a better chance of training harder, and then leaving the lighter session for a day where like I might not want to train as heavy. And so I went heavy on this day with the two complexes, like I said. And okay, I don't know why I'm getting a notification for that. And it went really well. And so like I mentioned, I hit the 110 with the hang snatch, with the hang clean and jerks. I was able to get to 140 and then push up to 155 with just a hang clean. I had no plans on doing the jerk with it. I was just hoping to be able to do a clean with that, and I think that's actually the best I've done from the low hang. And it's really nice because I didn't have the wrist straps on, didn't have anything on my knees. I was able to do the clean. So it tells me that I could probably do about 5 kilos more, at least with the hang clean, because the hardest part of that lift was standing it up. And if I had the knee sleeves on and the belt, then I think standing it up would have been not significantly easier, but certainly easier than not having any sort of equipment on like that. So it's kind of nice to know that my legs are supposedly getting stronger. It's weird because like I cleaned at 155, and then you see with the front squats, I missed a 160 front squat. So like I could just be fatigued from the lifts, but it's weird because like that 160 front squat felt like I was trying to front squat 200 kilos, and then the 155 felt very difficult, but it wasn't any. It felt easier than the 160, obviously, and I don't know. I think it's just probably fatigue, but my body's weird like that. I have a pretty efficient clean, but it just shows that as my legs get stronger, my clean goes up because of just the efficiency that I have with it. But in this 125, I was real happy with, and then I jumped right to 140, and it was pretty difficult, but I also had to wait a little bit because one of the guys at the gym was walking in front, and I wanted to wait because I was really curious. Not really. So it's weird because like, if I wait like this, like you'll see walk in front now, it's not because like I gotta have this perfect video, but it's like if I'm trying to look at the technique of my jerk, then obviously I don't want the actual movement to be blocked. If it was for the clean, I don't really care because like the clean's gonna be the clean, but for the jerk, like I'm really trying to be able to see that. So it's one reason why I waited for that. But this is 155. You see, very difficult to stand up, but I was able to do so, and then moved on to some front squats. After I did front squats, I did some snatch pulls that turned into snatch deadlifts, and I was able to get up to 220, which is, I believe, about 5 to 7 kilos under my best. I have snatch grip deadlift and truly like high hips, no shoes or anything, like I did on this particular day with 225 kilos, 500 pounds. I think that's like 227, and that was a extremely maximal lift. So I was very happy that I did this 220, and it felt good. And I think I was pretty confident, and there's a 160 that just slapped me right in the face. I did some extra front squat work after this where I just did some pauses here with 70 and then a couple singles with 100, just to get a little extra volume in. I'm considering changing on this day. I kind of jump back to the front squat since they just came up. I'm considering changing this day on the first day of the week to being some volume with the back squats, just because I can get more work in. As you see with like that 160, it's not even so much a strength thing. It's just like my positions are so bad. And part of that's just how I'm built, but a lot of that's like, even if I would have done that 160, it's not like I was going to do it for multiple reps, just because of the position that I'm in. And one could make the argument that that means I should do more front squats, but just because I'm always pitch forward, even naturally, on a rep that's easy, it just shows that why I kind of struggle at doing reps where I can do a high percentage lift for a single, but if I try to do that for a lower percentage for a double, I will often struggle to do that. And you kind of have to make those adjustments of what you can do in order to get as much work in. I was quite happy with how these pulls were moving, even though they're truly like snatch grip deadlifts. I was pleasantly surprised that they weren't as maximal as I thought. This certainly felt pretty maximal. Felt like it was going away from my body, but just felt like pushing a bit heavier on these, and was really kind of the end of the session. But I was real happy about adjusting that day, and that's kind of the nice thing when you're doing your own programming. There's no reason not to adjust things, because no matter what you write, you can always make improvements to it, because life happens. Whether it's your body recovering, whether it's how you sleep or work or stress, like there's always things that are changing, and because like life is an open system. If you're looking at it as far as like how you calculate volume and intensity in your training, it's like there's always another variable that you have to account for, and so you should always be open and changing things with the focus and the mindset that you're trying to get to a certain spot. So you're not going to eliminate a session and then only do max out sessions because you're mad or whatever. It's like you're still trying to adhere to what the path that you're trying to go on, and you're just being open to making those changes to alleviate the problems that would be. And that's one of the things that I didn't like with just generally following any sort of program, is it doesn't account for life. And it's not that it's not the program's fault that it can't do that, but that's one of the biggest variables. Like if I have an absolutely terribly stressful day at work, like I'm not going to want to work to maximum or really be able to. But if I have a day where it's like it went perfect at work for whatever reason, I slept a lot, I ate a lot, like I kind of want that to be a day where I push heavy. So it's just making those smart adjustments and not trying to kill yourself on the days where you feel terrible, and trying to push more on the days that you feel great. So it's those adjustments. And if I had a normal like weightlifting coach in a gym, I'm sure they would make those same adjustments too. So it's not a unique thing, but it's just one of those things that it's easier to do when you kind of know yourself and the stress that you go through, and you're doing your own thing, which I've always liked doing. But that's it for this one. I'll talk to you on the next video, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.